So it's kind of crazy that I had this vision before I had even met my husband now. But you have to be kind of have that like forward thinking and not be so set on what's going on right now, but think about what is going to come in the future or what potentially could come up in the future. At Leadership, I got to talk to Julie Boris, who is like, I love her. Like she like literally spent like 10 minutes before a workout, just like filling me with all of this like goodness and positive vibes. And she was talking about like how like, whenever this business becomes the most, let me see, think of how she said it. Like whenever this business becomes the most challenging, like that's when you need it the most. So like whenever it is the hardest, whenever it is like the most inconvenient, that's your sign that you need this. And I was like, oh, yes, yes, it is. Because that's the time when most people quit. Whenever it gets hard, whenever it gets challenging, whenever it gets to be inconvenient, whenever you're having to wake up. There's some mornings that I wake up at 4:30 a.m. There's sometimes that I'm up at 4 a.m. And like, that's not convenient for me, but I know that it's going to get us to where we want in the future. So one thing that I do, and I highly recommend, I don't know if you guys do vision boards or anything like that. Like I am such a visual person and I am someone who like craves like just being in that moment of where I'm going to be in the future. So I wanted to show you guys a couple of things off of my vision board. So this is one, it's one of our wedding photos. And I just have a couple of words like dream home right now. Like we live in this like adorable, but teeny tiny house. We have one bathroom and I love it. You know, my husband and I get to know each other really well with one bathroom. But whenever we have a kiddo who's going to be potty training and maybe a second down the road, we're going to need a second bathroom. So I would love for that next one to be our dream home. Live and Give. We are just like Dave Ramsey obsessed. And he talks about how, live like no one else now so that you can live and give like no one else later. And we just like have this like passion to be able to live our fullest life, but also be able to give as much as possible. And then my husband has this dream to be able to go see every single baseball stadium. And I'm going to make that happen for him. Like I'm going to send, because I don't know if I really want to go to all the baseball games. I'm going to send him and Rhett to every single baseball stadium. And I'm going to be like, I'll be home working my coaching business because I love it. No, I'll probably travel with them, but maybe I'll go shopping while they're going to all these baseball games. So maybe I'll come to Minneapolis. Isn't there a stadium there? Right? We'll come see you guys at the baseball game. I always have a coaching one. So I always have goals. This year, I did not meet all of these goals, but we did the elite one. So I have 10-star diamond, top 50 elite team. We're at like 55 right now. So we've got some work to do before the end of the year. And then this is the most important one, you guys. So these goals are awesome, but I am huge. You've got to write down like some feeling words. So with my vision board, I also have words, like things that I want to feel every single day. And my Pearl personality, I am like I always say it wrong, Enneagrams. If you do Enneagrams, I'm a 9, which is like, so like peace, like conflict makes me so anxious. I'm so motivated by peace. So peace, joy, and purposeful are my words. Like if I live every day and feel at peace, if I feel just this overwhelming sense of joy and have purpose in what I'm doing every single day, and look at that photo. Oh, look at that chunker. I will be like, that is like the dream life. And so don't always set those feelings of how you want to feel every single day also. Okay. The next thing I did was I got really clear on income goals. Talking about income was really scary for me, and putting it out there that like I make money doing this was really scary at first for me. But whenever I met my husband, he had a ton of student loan debt. We were engaged fairly quickly, so we were paying for our wedding. And I had this idea that I kind of wanted to leave teaching. And so making those really clear goals of what it was that I was working for, for 1 month, it was like I was going to pay for my photographer with his coaching business. Another month, I was going to pay for my flowers with this coaching business. Another month, I paid way too much for my wedding dress, but it was gorgeous. So and so those little like very clear income goals and then working backwards. So if you're a teacher, you probably know backwards design where you start with the test and then you work backwards. I started with what that income goal was. And then how many women did I need to help to meet that goal? Those types of things. So like get clear, get into knowledge of how we earn income. Okay. Because it's really cute and fluffy, but if you don't know like how to get to those income goals, it'll be really hard to push and to be spending all this time working this business if you feel like you're spinning your wheels. Okay. I also began affirmations. Like I talked about the visualizing. I visualized unrushed mornings. I am a crazy person in the mornings whenever I am just like going from task to task to task. So I wanted mornings where I could wake up. I could get my workout in. We could eat breakfast together if we wanted to. I didn't have to pack up my little man and put him in a cold car and go to a babysitter. Like we could ease into our days. And that pushed me more than any goal. That visualization of our like very calm mornings was what drives me most days when I was like, I had the worst day teaching. I just want to lay on the couch. I would think about like what my mornings would look like. And then I got to work. Let's be real. Like these things are so fluffy, but then I showed up every freaking day. And, it's cute. You get like little messages from people being like, that's so great that you get to be home with your kids. And I love that. That's so awesome. Lucky for you. And I'm like, yeah, but I kind of worked my ass off for 3.5 years to get to this point. So I appreciate that, you think I'm lucky, but really it was hard work. There was no luck involved. It was the fact that I grinded every single day. Every now and then I'll take a Sunday off here and there, but most of the time I'm showing up and I'm doing those basics of what we've got to do every single day. Okay. So I want to shift a little bit because Caitlin wanted me to hit on now, because life is so different now. I've gone from teaching full-time to working this business full-time as a married woman. I had 8, 9, 10 hours a day to work if I wanted to now a newborn who maybe likes to nap, maybe doesn't like to nap. So it has changed so much. And, all it is to it though is like, I work when I can. So there's these little pockets when he does nap that I work. I have an alarm set at 4:30 a.m. and it's typically, hopefully he's still sleeping. And I come in my office and I set up my pump right here and I pump because I can't work out until my breast milk is all gone. And so I pump and I do my vitals. And then, I hopefully can get my workout in before he wakes up. And then whenever he's up, I try to be as present as possible with him. But I have learned that like whenever he's napping, I'm working on this business. The laundry, the cooking, the house stuff, that can happen some other time. That can happen at another time. This business is what is going to sustain my family and get my family the goals that we want to see. So it's not perfect. Like there's been days where Zach comes home and I'm like, I didn't get any work done today. And he's like, it's okay. Like when he goes to sleep, which he goes to sleep at 6:30 at night, like I can work for a little bit when he goes, but I try to save that time. So that we at least have an hour and a half together. But let's be real. Most of the time we're just kind of like both zombies because we're both tired. So we try our best though. I will be 100% transparent. Right now, I am looking for some kind of help, a nanny of sorts that comes for a couple hours a week because I cannot give up a passion of mine. You know, I love being his mom, but I also love working, and I crave going and meeting up with coaches because I have a pretty large local team. I crave going to Panera and sitting in a booth and working for 2 hours uninterrupted. And so that's something that we are looking for, just because it is my passion and I don't want to give up my passion. I guess it's hard to say it because, like, as a mom, there's so many judgy things out there, but like, I want to be a mom and have passions, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, I want to have both of those things. And so I know that at times I need help to be able to sustain both of those. So anyways, I think that is all that I have for you guys. If you guys have questions, I would love to answer. I haven't looked at the chat because I get a squirrel brain, and so I get so distracted sometimes.
Well, we blew you up in the chat.
I love it. I'm still working on my team.
You what?
I'm still working on my team being like engaged, like chat.
Oh, Megan, that was so good. Does anybody have any questions for Megan? Or if you want to throw them in the chat. Where are you from? Nicole asked.
Oh, I didn't say that earlier, did I? I'm from Jefferson City, Missouri. So right in the middle.
You are more than welcome to come to Target Field. We will come and house you any day. Megan, what was their reaction when you guys found out that you locked in Elite this year? And what did it mean to, like, not just you, but like to your team? And like, how did you explain to them, like doing it together and like how, like, that team goal, like what was their reaction when they realized that you guys did that this year?
Yeah, that's a really cool question because I've always been I have a lot of fears. I don't know if you guys have realized that. I've always been very nervous to share, like, quote unquote, my goals with the team. But last New Orleans, when was New Orleans? Not this last summit before.
Yeah.
I was there with one of my coaches in particular, and we were watching the girls walk across the stage at Elite, you know, and walk across stage for 5-star and all this stuff. And she like looked at me and she's like, I'm going to get you up on that stage. And it was something about that like made me realize that, like, I wanted to help my coach. Why wouldn't my coaches want to help our team also?
I love that.
Since then, you know, I've tried to be more open about the goals, and instead of just like being like, I want us to be elite, like explain like what that means and why. So I'm really big on like, I want to be the best leader so I can be the example that you can do it also.
Totally.
So I am always like, here's the cool stuff. I almost said shit. Sorry. The cool stuff that you get from being elite. Like, I don't think my coaches quite understand all of that and like understand the income potentials also.
Yeah, stability.
And so just being like transparent of like what that means and what that would mean for me also, because I've realized that they all like to be part of something bigger than themselves, and Elite is something bigger than yourself. You can't do it on your own. When we found out, I actually had like one girl who had to like hold her diamond rank for 6 weeks, and when they found out, like, I had some girls that were like, oh my God, I started crying. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't even cry. But that's awesome. So it's just like the ones that like felt a part of it, like it was very much their goal as much. And so, you know, as I saw, as soon as I announced it, I went to like their team pages and they were all like posting in their team page, like, we're going to be 2019 Elite. I was like, yes, or 2020. I don't know how they do the years, but it was so cool for like that ripple effect to happen and them to then say, okay, well, if Meg did it, we can do it. Which is so cool.
That is so cool.
Favorite PD book or podcast? Oh my God, I cannot pick one book. So at this like 6 month mark, I read, and if you're someone who struggles with like setting goals, achieving goals, like pushing for goals, I read this book called 6 months, 6 months to six figures, I think. I did not make six figures in 6 months, by the way, disclosure, income disclosure. But it really broke down like how to set goals, how to break apart goals, how to chase it, like how to pursue goals. And that was like a big like change for me. I'm looking at my bookshelf. Entre Leadership by Dave Ramsey is for sure a fave. Lioness Arising is more of a Christian book, but it's very like woman, like, yeah, like women can do things. I loved it. The 6 months to six figures is Peter Voot, I think, which I like him.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, check it out. It's kind of basic for like goal setting and stuff like that. But for me, I needed that. I needed someone to be like, get your shit together, Meg.
I have one last question for you, Megan. Sorry, go ahead, Molly.
Oh, I have a question. So, Meg, you're like in a crazy season of life right now, and your whole coaching career, it sounds like, has been just like wild. How do you keep yourself going when maybe you just feel off, or you don't feel like doing it, or I had a coach tell me yesterday, I can't get in the right mindset to send my messages. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'm ever in the right mindset. But I just want to hear your take on like, when you don't feel like doing it, how do you just kind of show up? Or like when you're sitting there pumping at 4 a.m., like that sucks.
Yeah. Like I'm going to be 100% real with you guys. Like it is very rare that I don't feel like doing this business. And I think I have legit found my calling. Now there are certain activities that I don't feel like doing for sure from time to time, and sending messages is one of them. Like my inbox is so full right now, and it's because like I like to put it off that I shouldn't be. But I think like it just legit, and it seems so silly, but like legit going through like, okay, I guess like I always go back to like the worst case scenario of like, this doesn't work out and I am back in the classroom. And honestly, right now, that is the worst case scenario for me, because I lost my heart for teaching, and I love teaching. But I had a really, really rough last year teaching, and I was called a lot of names. I was like, I'm an energy person. So if other people have positive, great energy, like I'm just loving life. If other people are just way too cool for school, which is where I was my last year teaching, it was like everything I came up with was just like, this is dumb. And it drained me so much. And so I go to that place of like, if this doesn't work out, that's what I'm doing. And so I don't know, I guess that's probably a bad place to go, but it's like,
no, I kind of, yeah. Well, because it's like if you don't do that action of like ripping the Band-Aid off to do it, it's like, and you did that enough days in a row, like you wouldn't succeed and you could end up back there. So
yeah,
totally.
I love that. That was a good question, Maldahl. My last question is not related to coaching unless somebody else has one that is. Okay, how did you meet Zach then?
I was going to say, I'm so scared of what this is.
Oh, she's like, oh crap. Sorry. I just want to like quick high level version, because I just want to know, because her husband is so sweet. So I want to know how you met him.
And he's really hot.
He's very cute. My Zach even saying that too. We're like, oh, damn.
Oh, dang. He's good. Yeah, he's a little bit metro, and he'll admit that also. But yeah, so side story. My water broke the day that I had Brett. And so it's kind of like, we weren't super rushed. It was kind of like, we both showered, that stuff. He's in there like plucking his eyebrows before we went to the hospital. I was like, what are you doing? Let's go to the hospital. He's like, these things are out of control. He has caterpillar eyebrows. He has really thick eyebrows. So I get it. And my son has thick eyebrows. So he slid into my DMs. He sent me a Facebook message of, hey, I know this is forward, but I wanted to know if you wanted to go to dinner. I had just bought this house. So I was living in this house on my own, and I was like having these thoughts of like, I'm just going to die here with my dog. And then he pops into my life. Yeah. So kind of, if you guys are podcast people, I actually I was interviewed for a podcast. It's called Oh Hello Podcast. So if you go to their first episode, it's like all for 20s. And so they talk about like issues that people in their 20s face. Well, I was like that girl in her 30s looking back on her 20s. And so it made me think of that, because we talked about that, and they were joking about like singing that song on the podcast. And anyways, it was kind of fun.
Basically, Kelsey said he basically sent you a good invite to like a coaching or challenge group start.
Yes, he is in sales, and he is very persistent. So
your little dream team.
Power couple.
Oh man, I love it, Meg. Well, thank you so much for that. Everyone give her a little air clap. Yay. That was so awesome. And we will see you at Summit, and we will see you walk across stage to represent your team, and Hustle with Heart will cheer nice and loud for you. Yeah. Molly, do you have anything to add?
No, that was awesome, Meg. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. We'll go blow you up on social. You guys, her name on Instagram is her name. So Megan Seal. So.
All right. See you
Bye,
guys.
guys. Thanks, Meg.